A Boat Beneath a Sunny Sky by Lewis Carroll. A boat beneath a sunny sky, lingering onward dreamily in an evening of July. Children three that nestle near, eager eye and willing ear, pleased a simple tale to hear. Long has paled that sunny sky, echoes fade and memories die. Autumn frosts have slain July. Still she haunts me, phantom-wise, Alice moving under skies never seen by waking eyes. Children yet the tale to hear, eager eye and willing ear, lovingly shall nestle near. In a wonderland they lie, dreaming as the days go by, dreaming as the summers die. Ever drifting down the stream, lingering in the golden gleam. Life, what is it but a dream? Cargoes by John Maysfield. Quinquereme of Nineveh from distant Ophir, rowing home to haven in sunny Palestine, with a cargo of ivory and apes and peacocks, sandalwood, cedarwood and sweet white wine. Stately Spanish galleon coming from the isthmus, dipping through the tropics by the palm green shores, with a cargo of diamonds, emeralds, amethysts, topazes and cinnamon and gold moidores. Dirty British coaster with a salt-caked smokestack butting through the channel in the mad March days, with a cargo of tine coal, road rails, pig lead, firewood, ironware, and cheap tin trays. Before Summer Rain by Rainer Maria Rilke. Suddenly, from all the green around you, something you don't know what has disappeared. You feel it creeping closer to the window in total silence. From the nearby wood you hear the urgent whistling of a plover, reminding you of someone's St. Jerome. So much solitude and passion come from that one voice, whose fierce requests the downpour will grant. The walls, with their ancient portraits, glide away from us, cautiously, as though they weren't supposed to hear what we were saying, and reflected on the faded tapestries now, the chill, uncertain sunlight of those long childhood hours when you were so afraid. Sonnet 18 by William Shakespeare. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed, and every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest, so long as men can breathe or eyes can see. So long lives this, and this gives life to thee. Summer in the Mountains by Li Po. Gently I stir a white feather fan, with open shirt, sitting in a green wood. I take off my cap and hang it on a jutting stone. A wind from the pine tree trickles on my bare head. Tall Nettles by Edward Thomas. Tall nettles cover up as they have done these many springs the rusty harrow, the plough long worn out, and the roller made of stone. Only the elm butt tops the nettles now. This corner of the farmyard I like most, as well as any bloom upon a flower. I like the dust on the nettles, never lost, except to prove the sweetness of a shower. The Unknown Bird by Edward Thomas. 3 lovely notes he whistled, too soft to be heard if others sang, but others never sang in the great beech wood all that May and June. No one saw him. I alone could hear him, though many listened. Was it but 4 years ago, or 5? He never came again. Oftenest when I heard him, I was alone, nor could I ever make another hear. La la la, he called, seeming far off, as if a cock crowed past the edge of the world, as if the bird or I were in a dream. Yet that he travelled through the trees and sometimes neared me was plain, though somehow distant still he sounded. All the proof is, I told men what I had heard. I never knew a voice, man, beast, or bird, better than this. I told the naturalists, but neither had they heard anything like the notes that did so haunt me. I had them clear by heart, and have them still. 4 years, or 5, have made no difference. Then, as now, the la 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 was bodiless sweet. Sad, more than joyful it was, if I must say that it was one or the other. But if sad, 'twas sad only with joy too, too far off for me to taste it. But I cannot tell if truly never anything but fair the days were when he sang, as now they seem. This surely I know, that I who listened then, happy sometimes, sometimes suffering a heavy body and a heavy heart, now straightway, if I think of it, become light as that bird, wandering beyond my shore. I Know a Bank Where the Wild Thyme Blows by William Shakespeare, from A Midsummer Night's Dream, spoken by Oberon. I know a bank where the wild thyme blows, where oxlips and the nodding violet grows, quite over-canopied with luscious woodbine, with sweet musk roses, and with eglantine. There sleeps Titania some time of the night, lulled in these flowers with dances and delight, and there the snake throws her enamelled skin, weed wide enough to wrap a fairy in. And with the juice of this I'll streak her eyes, and make her full of hateful fantasies. Take thou some of it, and seek through this grove. A sweet Athenian lady is in love with a disdainful youth. Anoint his eyes, but do it when the next thing he espies may be the lady. Thou shalt know the man by the Athenian garments he hath on. Affect it with some care, that he may prove more fond of her than she upon her love. And look now, meet me ere the first cock crow. June by John Updike. The sun is rich and gladly pays in golden hours, silver days, and long green weeks that never end. School's out, and time is ours to spend. There's little league, hopscotch, the creek, and after supper, hide and seek. The livelong light is like a dream, and freckles come like flies to cream. Long Island Sound by Emma Lazarus. I see it as it looked one afternoon in August, by a fresh soft breeze o'erblown. the swiftness of the tide, the light thereon, a far-off sail, white as a crescent moon, the shining waters with pale currents strewn, the quiet fishing smacks, the eastern cove, the semicircle of its dark green grove, the luminous grasses and the merry sun and the grave sky, the sparkle far and wide, laughter of unseen children, cheerful chirp of cricket, and low lisp of rippling tide, light summer clouds, fantastical as sleep, changing unnoted while I gazed thereon. All these fair sounds and sights I made my own. Rain in Summer by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. How beautiful is the rain after the dust and heat in the broad and fiery street in the narrow lane. How beautiful is the rain, how it clatters along the roofs like the tramp of hooves, how it gushes and struggles out from the throat of the overflowing spout across the window pane. It pours, and swift and wide with a muddy tide like a river down the gutter roars. The rain, the welcome rain. The sick man from his chamber looks at the twisted brooks. He can feel the cool breath of each little pool. His fevered brain grows calm again, and he breathes a blessing on the rain. From the neighbouring school come the boys with more than their wonted noise and commotion, and down the wet streets sail their mimic fleets till the treacherous pool engulfs them in its whirling and turbulent ocean. In the country, on every side, where far and wide like a leopard's tawny and spotted hide stretches the plain, to the dry grass and the drier grain, how welcome is the rain. In the furrowed land, the toilsome and patient oxen stand, lifting the yoke-encumbered head, with their dilated nostrils spread, they silently inhale the clover-scented gale, and the vapours that arise from the well-watered and smoking soil, for this rest in the furrow after toil. Their large and lustrous eyes seem to thank the Lord more than man's spoken word. Near at hand, from under the sheltering trees, the farmer sees his pastures and his fields of grain, as they bend their tops to the numberless beating drops of the incessant rain. He counts it as no sin that he sees therein, only his own thrift and gain. These, and far more than these, the poet sees. He can behold Aquarius old, walking the fenceless fields of air, and from each ample fold of the clouds about him rolled, scattering everywhere the showery rain. As the farmer scatters his grain, he can behold things manifold that have not yet been wholly told, have not been wholly sung nor said, for his thought that never stops follows the water drops down to the graves of the dead, down through chasms and gulfs profound, to the dreary fountainhead of lakes and rivers underground, and sees them, when the rain is done, on the bridge of colours seven, climbing up once more to heaven, opposite the setting sun. Thus the seer, with vision clear, sees forms appear and disappear in the perpetual round of strange, mysterious change. From birth to death, from death to birth, from earth to heaven, from heaven to earth, till glimpses more sublime of things unseen before unto his wondering eyes reveal the universe as an immeasurable wheel, turning for evermore in the rapid and rushing river of time. Summer by John Clare. Come we to the summer we will come, for the woods are full of bluebells and the hedges full of bloom, and the crow is on the oak a building of her nest, and love is burning diamonds in my true lover's breast. She sits beneath the whitethorn, a plaiting of her hair, and I will to my true lover with a fond request repair. I will look upon her face, I will in her beauty rest, and lay my aching weariness upon her lovely breast. The clock of clay is creeping on the open bloom of May. The merry bee is trampling the pinky threads all day, and the chaffinch, it is brooding on its grey, mossy nest in the whitethorn bush where I will lean on my lover's breast. I'll lean upon her breast, and I'll whisper in her ear that I cannot get a wink of sleep for thinking of my dear. I hunger at my meat, and I daily fade away like the hedgerow that is broken in the heat of the day. The Silken Tent by Robert Frost. She is as in a field, a silken tent, at midday when the sunny summer breeze has dried the dew and all its ropes relent, so that in guise it gently sways at ease, and its supporting central cedar pole, that is its pinnacle to heavenward and signifies the sureness of the soul, seems to owe naught to any single cord, but strictly held by none, is loosely bound by countless silken ties of love and thought to everything on earth the compass round, and only by one's going slightly taught in the capriciousness of summer air is of the slightest bondage made aware. Tall Nettles by Edward Thomas. Tall nettles cover up as they have done these many springs the rusty harrow, the plough long worn out, and the roller made of stone. Only the elm butt tops the nettles now. This corner of the farmyard I like most, as well as any bloom upon a flower. I like the dust on the nettles, never lost, except to prove the sweetness of a shower. There was a merry passenger, a messenger, a mariner. He built a gilded gondola to wander in, and had in her a load of yellow oranges and porridge for his provender. He perfumed her with marjoram and cardamom and lavender. He called the winds of Argosies with cargoes in to carry him across the river 17 that lay between to tarry him. He landed all in loneliness, where stonily the pebbles on the running river Derrylin goes merrily forever on. He journeyed then through meadowlands to shadowland that dreary lay, and under hill and over hill went roving still a weary way. He sat and sang a melody, his errantry a tarrying. He begged a pretty butterfly that fluttered by to marry him. She scorned him, and she scoffed at him. She laughed at him unpitying. So long he studied wizardry and sigildry and smithying. He wove a tissue airy thin to snare her in, to follow her. He made him beetle leather wing and feather wing of swallow hair. He caught her in bewilderment with filament of spider thread. He made her soft pavilions of lilies and a bridal bed of flowers and of thistledown to nestle down and rest her in, and silken webs of filmy white and silver light he dressed her in. He threaded gems and necklaces, but recklessly she squandered them and fell to bitter quarrelling. Then sorrowing he wandered on, and there he left her withering, as shivering he fled away, with windy weather following. On swallow wing he sped away. He passed the archipelagos where yellow grows the marigold, where countless silver fountains are, and mountains are of fairy gold. He took to war and foraying, a harrying beyond the sea, and roving over Belmary and Thelemy and Fantasy. He made a shield and morion of coral and of ivory, A sword he made of emerald, and terrible his rivalry, with elven knights of Aerie and fairy with paladins that golden-haired and shining-eyed came riding by and challenged him. Of crystal was his habergeon, his scabbard of chalcedony, with silver-tipped at plenilune, his spear was hewn of ebony, his javelins were of malachite and stalactite, he brandished them, and went and fought the dragonflies of paradise, and vanquished them. He battled with the Dumbledores, and hummerhorns and honeybees, and won the golden honeycomb, and running home on sunny seas, in ship of leaves and gossamer, with blossom for a canopy, he sat and sang, and furbished up, and burnished up his panoply. He tarried for a little while, and found there naught but blowing grass, and so at last the only way he took and turned, and coming home with honeycomb to memory, his message came, and errant too. In derring-do and glamoury he had forgot them, journeying and tourneying, a wanderer. So now he must depart again, and start again his gondola, for ever still a messenger, a passenger, a tarrier, a roving as a feather does, a weather-driven mariner. Fireflies in the Garden by Robert Frost. Here come real stars to fill the upper skies, that though they never equal stars in size, and they were never really stars at heart, achieve at times a very star-like start. Only, of course, they can't sustain the part. No Man is an Island by John Donne. No man is an island entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. If a clod be washed away by the sea, Europe is the less, as well as if a promontory were, as well as any manner of thy friends or of thine own were. Any man's death diminishes me, because I am involved in mankind, and therefore never send to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. On the Grasshopper and Cricket by John Keats. The poetry of earth is never dead. When all the birds are faint with the hot sun and hide in cooling trees, a voice will run from hedge to hedge about the new-mown mead. That is the grasshopper's. He takes his lead in summer luxury. He has never done with his delights, for when tired out with fun, he rests at ease beneath some pleasant weed. The poetry of earth is ceasing never. On a lone winter evening, when the frost has wrought a silence, from the stove there shrills the cricket's song, in warmth increasing ever, and seems to one in drowsiness half lost, the grasshoppers among some grassy hills. Ozymandias by Percy Bysshe Shelley. I met a traveller from an antique land who said, 2 vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them, on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that its sculptor well those passions read which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them, and the heart that fed. And on the pedestal these words appear: My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair. Nothing beside remains, round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away. Warm Summer Sun by Mark Twain. Warm summer sun, shine kindly here. Warm southern wind, blow softly here. Green sod above, lie light, lie light. Good night, dear heart. Good night, good night. Yes, by Tess Gallagher. Now we are like that flat cone of sand in the garden of the Silver Pavilion in Kyoto, designed to appear only in moonlight. Do you want me to mourn? Do you want me to wear black? Or like moonlight on whitest sand, to use your dark, to gleam, to shimmer? I gleam. I mourn. The Thought Fox by Ted Hughes. I imagine this midnight moment's forest, something else is alive, beside the clock's loneliness and this blank page where my fingers move. Through the window I see no star. Something more near, though deeper, within darkness, is entering the loneliness. Cold, delicately as the dark snow, a fox's nose touches twig, leaf. Two eyes serve a movement that now and again, now and now and now, sets neat prints into the snow, between trees, and warily a lame shadow lags by stump and in hollow, of a body that is bold to come across clearings, an eye, a widening, deepening greenness, brilliantly, concentratedly coming about its own business, till, with a sudden sharp hot stink of fox, it enters the dark hole of the head. The window is starless still, the clock ticks, the page is printed. The Summer by Josh Pike. If I could bottle up the sea breeze, I would take it over to your house and pour it loose through your garden, so the hinges on your windows would rust and colour like the boats pulled up on the sand for the summer, and your sweet clean clothes would go stiff on the line, and there'd be sand in your pockets and nothing on your mind. But every year it gets a little bit harder to get back to the feeling of when we were 15, and we could jump in the river upstream and let the current carry us to the beginning where the river met the sea again, and all our days were a sun-drenched haze while the salt spray crusted on the window panes. We should be living like we lived that summer. I want to live like we lived in the summer. And I'll remember that summer as the right one. The storms made the pavement steam like a kettle, and our first goodbye always seemed like hours in the car park in between my house and yours. And if the summer holds a song we might sing forever, then the winter holds a bite we'd never felt before. But time is like the ocean. You can only hold a little in your hands. So we swim before we are broken, before our bones become black coral on the sand. We should be living like we lived that summer. I want to live like we live in the summer. So if I could bottle up the sea breeze, I would take it over to your house and pour it loose through your garden. Over Hill, Over Dale by William Shakespeare, from A Midsummer Night's Dream. Over hill, over dale, through bush, through briar, over park, over pale, through flood, through fire. I do wander everywhere, swifter than the moon's sphere, and I serve the fairy queen to dew her orbs upon the green. The cowslips tall her pensioners be, in their gold coats spots you see. Those be rubies, fairy favours. In those freckles live their savours. I must go seek some dewdrops here, and hang a pearl in every cowslip's ear. Farewell, thou lob of spirits, I'll be gone. Our queen and all her elves come here anon. Puck's Final Speech from A Midsummer Night's Dream by William Shakespeare. If we shadows have offended, think but this, and all is mended, that you have but slumbered here, while these visions did appear, and this weak and idle theme no more yielding but a dream. Gentles, do not reprehend. If you pardon, we will mend. And as I am an honest Puck, if we have unearned luck now to 'scape the serpent's tongue, we will make amends ere long, else the Puck a liar call. So good night unto you all. Give me your hands, if we be friends, and Robin shall restore amends.